All right, number 1, obviously it's worth 3 points. Whenever you see this word right there, area, you pretty much know it's automatically going to be worth 3 points. And those 3 points, you might want to write this somewhere on your formative so you have it. That would be, you must have the formula. You must have an answer, so whatever the area is. And then finally, you must have units. You must have units. Those are your 3 points that we're looking for. So, the first one, I just said right something. The first one here is obviously it's a parallelogram, it says it is. So we know it's a parallelogram, so automatically we know the formula that we need to use would be area equals base times height. Okay? Right, guys? Now this was there was some of you miss it. There was a handful. Not a lot, the majority of you got it right, but there was a handful, and I think the reason why is you guys are counting the slants, I think. All you got to do is count. Now, there was also some confusion out of some of you on how to count this. Like, I still have people saying, wait a minute, Mr. Garrison, do I count that little partial one right there? Okay, it has nothing to do with the square itself. Okay, it has to do with the length. So we're talking about from right there to right there. When I go, and I'll do this in a different color, when I go from one side of the square to the other side, isn't that 1? Isn't that 2? Isn't that 3, 4, and 5? It has nothing to do with whether that's partial. It's a length. So we know that that distance is 5. The other way that you could do this is you could say, well, it starts at 1 on the x-axis, and then it goes to 6. So how many are in between? 5, right? So that's going to be 5 units. Now let's figure out the height. No, you can't measure the slant. You need to come straight up. So you could have measured from right here to right here. You could have measured from here to here, here to here, here to here. Or could we go outside of the thing and extend it out like that? Yeah. It's all the same. Okay, that's my point here is you just have to make sure that it's coming to a right angle right there, which it is. So we're counting them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we know that it is 5 times 6 is my base of my height. That is going to make my answer 30. Then, of course, we need units squared. So put what you got out of 3 points. Formula, answer, units squared. Formula, answer, and units squared. Okay? Everybody got that? That's my whole point here, guys. That's why some of you got annoyed that I made you write the formula. Let's say you accidentally thought this was 7. It's not. But let's say you thought it was 7. So you thought the answer was 35. As long as you have that and you have that, I just gave you 2 out of 3 points, and you got the question wrong. So it's actually in your best interest that I'm doing it this way. Does everybody understand that? So literally, if you write units squared, that is 1 point. If you write your formula, that is 1 point. Then your answer is the 3rd point. Everybody got that? If you accidentally put inches or feet squared, something like that, or you could always write square feet or square units. Okay? If you do it that way, that's fine. It's supposed to be units when there is no actual units, though, okay? All right, number 2. New tiles are being laid in the school hallway. The tiles measure 1 foot by 1 foot. The hallway is 75 feet long, or 75 feet long and 9 feet wide. How many tiles will be needed to cover the floor of the hallway? So you know right away whenever you see the word cover, what are we talking about, guys? Area. Now, I'll explain to you why this one's only worth 2 points. I probably should have made it worth 4, but you'll see why here in a minute. We know it's area because we're talking about 1 foot by 1 foot squares. That is what area is. It's the amount of those that will cover a space, a floor, or something two-dimensional. Okay? So if we want to know how many of those we're going to need, that is finding the area. So we know that it is a, what shape? Rectangular, right? Okay, school hallways are going to be rectangular, right? Okay, so it's going to be a rectangle, so you know right away, here's your first point. You're going to have to find the area. So there's one of the 2 points. Now, when you do 9 times 75, you get, I don't remember, what is it?
675.
675. Now, realistically, you should have had feet squared there. Let me show you why this was only worth 2 points, though. I'll show you what you needed to have. It's not asking for how many feet squared. What's it asking for?
How many tiles?
The amount of tiles. So really, you should have had this. So these are your 2 points. Your formula, your formula is 1 point, and then of course that. Everybody got that?
What would it?
So the reason I didn't is because I understand you guys probably got this and just went ahead and answered the question. That's what I'm thinking. That's why I didn't count this time. Because it didn't actually ask for the area. Do you guys see what I mean there?
Yeah.
So here's what you had to have, guys. Just hear me out. You had to have area equals base times height. If you simply just wrote 675, I will accept it. Okay? Because that you are telling me the answer. You should write labels, but that's fine. Okay, so I'll clarify this. It did ask for tiles, but if you actually did this and wrote 675 feet squared, I'll accept it, because you got to understand it means the same thing, because these are 1 by 1 tiles. Okay, so I'm good either way on that. So you had to have one or the other of these. Okay, so either that or that, but you had to have the formula. Okay, so go ahead and put what you got out of 2 over there. Let's go to number 3. Triangular, okay, street sign has a base of 30 inches and a height of 24 inches. What is the area of the street sign? Again, whenever you see area, how many points is it going to be worth? 3 points. So, as you guys should have down pat by now, the area formula is 1/2 times the base times the height. So then I'm going to do 1/2 times 30 times 24. And I'm going to get what? 360 inches squared. So, this you obviously had to have the formula. That's 1 point. The answer, that's 1 point. And you had to have inches squared or square inches. You had to have that. Everybody go with that? Go ahead and put what you got out of 3 then. Okay, let's go up. Number 4. Now, this is going to be worth 3 points because it didn't want you to do the area formula of the trapezoid. It says, what is the, there's that word again, how many points is every time you see that going to be worth? 3 points. Okay, of the triangle. Okay, so you had to do a little work here. Now, one thing that isn't a bad idea is just to simply say, I'm going to redraw this. So there's that. I'll bring it down here. Okay, that's the rectangle. Now if I'm going to do the triangle, I'll just do my best with it. Freehand it. Oh boy.
Yeah, that wasn't the best.
Okay, good enough. Okay, now I can look at it and say, okay, I know that my height of my rectangle is 12 centimeters. I know that my height of this is also 12, right? Some people like to actually see them separated. They think it's easier to see. Now, what we have to figure out is if we can figure out this, then we can just subtract it from 25, right? That's kind of the idea here. So if we know that from right here to right here is 18, we know this is 18, so what else do we know is 18? Right here is 18. Okay? Well, if that's 18 from there to there, and we know this whole thing is 25, it comes right back to this whole business. Whole minus part equals part, right? If I know the whole distance, rectangle and triangle, is 25, I'm going to do 25 and I'm going to subtract the 18 of the rectangle and I'm going to get 7. Now that I know that this is 7 right there, now I have enough information to find all the area of both of these shapes. So 3 points, 1/2 base times height, okay? And then that's going to be 1/2 times 12 times 7, which is going to give me 42 centimeters squared. So for number 4, you had to have formula. Answer, centimeters squared. You had to have those 3 points. Everybody got that? Okay. Now we'll go on to the rectangle. So we're going to do area equals base times height. Okay. So we're going to do 12 times 18 this time. 12 times 18. What is that?
216.
216. And then, of course, it's centimeters squared. Okay. So there's 1, 2. Whoops. I need to do that differently. It's going to be 1 point for your formula, 1 point for your 216, 1 point for centimeters squared. Everybody seeing that? Yeah.
I had all of that, but I just put it on the top and then I just put the answer.
That's fine, as long as you had it. Okay, number 6 now. The reason this is only worth 2 points. Now, you could have done the 3 points. Here was my thing. If you wanted to, could you have done the actual trapezoid formula?
Yes.
Do you have to for this, though?
No.
No. So that's why I didn't count it as a point. That's not a point this time. What could you do to find the area of this trapezoid? Ripple? Yeah, that's decomposing it, right? So when you do that, you're going to get 256 centimeters squared. So here's your 2 points. I'll do them in green this time.
58.
Whoops, sorry. My bad. 258 centimeters squared. So your 3 points would be 258 and centimeters squared. Everybody see that? If you did the formula, is that okay? Yes, it is. I'm just not counting it against you if you didn't do it. Okay, so go ahead and put what you got out of 2 on that one. Everybody seeing how we're doing this now?
Yeah.
Okay, number 7. Okay, this is going to be worth 3 points. How do you guys know the area formula for a hexagon? No, you do not. But what you do know is it's really hard to see here. So I'm going to outline this thing. This thing is broken into 6 triangles, correct?
Yep.
Are they all equal triangles?
Yep.
Yes, they are. So if I can find the area of one triangle, then I can just multiply it by however many triangles I have. So here's your first point. Finding the area of the triangle. 1/2 base times height. That's your formula. Now it says your length of all the sides are 4.7 inches. Okay? So we're going to do 1/2 times 4 times 4.7. And that's going to give us 9.4 inches squared. Right?
Yep.
Is that the answer though?
No.
No, it's not. So we need to now take that. We know that's just the area of that. That's just one triangle. So now we've got to multiply that by 6. We end up learning that's going to be 56.4 inches squared. Okay, so here are your 3 points. You got 1 for your formula. 1 for 56.4 and 1 for inches squared. Yes?
I put the formula and everything, but I did the 9.4 times 6 to my calculator.
Okay.
So with
Well, did you select this answer?
yes.
Well, then you got 2 points. You guys get my point? This one I'm kind of giving away. I'm giving away 1 free. I really should have made it worth 2, or should have only made it worth 2 because all of them have inches squared on them. But I'm giving you that point regardless. Yes.
I put, for the area, I put everything except I put that.
That's fine. Guys, the real big thing here is make sure you had your formula written. And then if you wrote this, as long as you selected C, you got the other 2 points. Okay? Everybody got that? Okay, this page is going to be out of, I think, 19, but is it 19?
Yeah.
It's out of 19. Put what you got out of 19, please.
That's the best drawing you've done.
Thank you. Alrighty. Let's go. Let's keep moving here. Okay? Find the area of the polygon. Now, you could have done yours differently. We've got to decompose this thing. I found it easiest just to cut it right there. Could you also cut it there?
Yes.
Sure you could have. You will get the same answer regardless. So, when you find your area of this rectangle, notice this is worth 3 points because they're both rectangles, so I at least needed to see you write area equals base times height 1 time. Everybody got that? Area equals base times height. If you wrote it twice, good. That's even better. If you wrote it once, that's all I needed because they're both rectangles. Okay, so you write it 1 time there. Now we've got to find the area of this rectangle. Well, you look at it, say, okay, I know that I need to figure out the base and the height. So that's the base, that's the height. So it's already given to us. That makes it pretty easy. That's going to be 12 times 6, which is going to be 72 feet squared. Okay. This one over here, you're going to know that your base is 9, your height is 15. That's going to give us, what is it? 135 feet squared. Okay. Now that we know that, we're going to take this. I don't want to highlight that. And we're going to say this is 72, this is 135. So what do we need to do? Add them together to give us?
207 feet squared.
So, here's your 3 points, guys. You had to write your formula at least 1 time. You had to write the formula at least once. That's 1 point. Your second point is getting 207. Your third point is getting feet squared. So, guys, I'm making it easier for you guys. You understand that, right? I'm making it easier to get a better grade because I'm giving you free points. Even if you don't know how to do it, if you have the formula and you have the units, you're getting a point for it, which is kind of probably not right, but that's okay. Okay, here's an area question. So obviously this is going to be worth 3 points. Here's your formula. Area equals 1/2 the height times the sum of the bases. Okay? Everybody got that?
Yep.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and plug in what we know. 1/2. I know the height is the distance between the bases times 7, and then 16 plus 24. Altogether, that's going to give us what? 140?
Yep.
And then meters squared. So, my 3 points, formula, answer, meters squared. Formula, answer, meters squared. Give yourself what you got out of 3 for that one. Okay? Number 10. Okay? A family has a flower garden in the shape of a parallelogram. This right here is the flower garden. Okay? It's a parallelogram. Okay? They planted grass in the rest of the yard. That's what the little speckled stuff is grass being planted. What is the area of the backyard that is planted with grass? Once again, in order to do these problems, you've got to remember this. Whole minus part equals part. The whole would represent the entire backyard. The part is going to represent just this thing right here, just where the flower garden is. Okay? And we're going to take the whole, and we're going to imagine taking scissors and cutting this out of a picture. Would that give you everything left over? Yes. So we're going to find the area of the entire backyard. That's going to include the flower garden. So you had to write that at least one time because they're both parallelograms. One's a rectangle, special type, but regardless, same formula. Now I'm going to find the area of the backyard. So that's going to be 120 times 75, which I think gives you 9,000. Is that right?
Yep.
9,000 feet squared. Okay. Now I've got to find the area of the little flower garden, the part. I'm going to do area equals base times height. That's going to give me 60 feet squared. Okay, what do I need to do now? I need to subtract. I still have some people adding. That wouldn't make any sense, guys. That would be like if I had imagine if I had a parallelogram right here, and I said, yep, I got this piece of land. I'm gonna be adding this to my yard. Now it'd be 9,060, right? If I were adding it. I'm not adding it. I want to know how much grass seed to buy. Okay? So when I look at this, I go, okay, if that's 60, I need to subtract 60 from this, which is going to give us 8,940 feet squared. So, 3 points here. You had to have area equals base times height written at least one time. You had to have 8,940. You had to have feet squared. Everybody good with that? You seeing what my expectations are here? Okay, good. Let's go to number 11. Okay. Brett has a square vegetable garden that measures 18 feet on each side. I personally like to draw it. You guys didn't have to. I think it just helps you visualize it. It's a square, so you know it's 18 feet by 18 feet. So again, how many points is this worth?
Trace.
Trace. Good. Okay, so that's going to be area equals base times height. So it's going to be 18 times 18, which is going to be?
324 feet squared.
324 feet squared. So 3 points here. Formula. Answer. Feet squared. Make sure you're being honest. If you don't have feet squared, I'm going to count it wrong on the test. So on the summative. So you may as well get your mind thinking about it now. So it might make your grade a little worse today, but I mean, that's kind of part of the process, the formative thing. Okay. Now we've got to take that and apply it. Now this is only going to be worth 1 point because it's kind of right or wrong. The idea here is one bag of fertilizer can cover 54 square feet. Now I know a lot of you probably just did 324 divided by 54, right? Which is beautiful if you did that. But let me show you how we can relate this right back to chapter 4 and 5, way back when. What is that right there, guys?
Yeah.
Which, a fake ratio, guys. Absolutely. Look at this for a second. So there's my fake ratio. I want to know how many bags. Do I know how many square feet? Hello? Did you guys see how I did that? And obviously you do 324 times 1. You're going to end up doing that regardless. But you will learn that you will need 6 bags of fertilizer. Now, just for you guys to start thinking, by the way, the answer was 6, so that's either right or wrong. Real quick, guys, let's say that it was actually this. I'll go up here. Let's say it was 394 divided by 54. Okay? Let's just say that my answer was 394, not 300 was it 24 or what was it? Okay, so let's do 394 divided by 54. Okay, now that gave me a decimal. That gave me 7.29, we'll just say. 7.29. If you are given this on the summative, will I accept 7.29? I will not accept 7.29. Why? Yes?
Because in real life you can't have 7.29 bags of fertilizer.
Absolutely.
You have to have either 7 or 8.
You can either have 7 or 8, exactly. You can't go and say, hey, Home Depot, I only need 7.29 of grass seed. So cut the bag open and give me only 29 hundredths of a bag. You can't do that. So how many bags will I need to buy? 8. Some people say 7. Would 7 be enough?
No.
No. So this one actually worked out to be a whole number, nice and perfect for you. Okay, it won't always be that way. You guys understand that, right? If this answer would have been 6.3, we would have had to buy 7 bags. You guys all understand that? But it worked out perfectly to be 6 bags. Okay, let's go on. The area of this figure is 128 inches squared. Ideally, I wanted you to set up an equation. So area equals base times height. And then plug in what you know. I know the area in this case. I know the base is 16. So you end up getting 16h equaling 128. We're going to divide 16, divide 16. We're going to learn that h equals, help me? 8. So what are my 2 points here, you might ask? Well, here's the answer. 8 is going to be 1 point, and then inches is going to be 1 point. If you put inches squared, it is wrong. You do not get 1 point. Do you guys hear me? This distance right here is just a length from there to there. That is simply inches. That is not inches squared. So that is why that one's worth 2 points. So basically what I'm telling you is, if you just simply did 128 divided by 16, that's fine on this one. I would like you to do it this way. This is the best way to do it. It'll help you. But some people are going to do it any way they want. So I'm cool with that. So you didn't have to write the formula, but I would advise you to. Okay, number 14. Find the area of the following composite figure. First of all, when I see the word area, I know it's going to be 3 points. I thought cutting it right here was the easiest. You could have cut it the other way, and that's fine as long as you end up getting the right answer. I see they're both rectangles, so I know I got to write this at least one time. Okay, so now I'm going to do 3.5 times 10. That's going to give me 35 centimeters squared, because that's the base and the height right there. Now we'll go to this one. Well, I know that the height of this rectangle is going to be 7, right, guys? Right? Okay, I need to figure out this length right there. And I know it's going to be the same as that length. Well, if I know if it's from right here to right here, I know that that is 10. So how many centimeters are left? 7. So this is actually a square. So you would do area equals base times height. 7 times 7 is 49 centimeters squared. So now what do we got to do last? We need to add these. What's that give us? 84 centimeters squared. So this one is worth 3 points. You had to write this formula at least one time. I would have preferred you to write it twice. Then you had to have 84. You had to have centimeters squared. Okay? Put what you got out of, I think, 18 on this one. This is out of 18 on this page. Okay? All right, here we go. This one's only worth 1 point. This is just going to be right or wrong on this one. Okay? I thought about making it worth more, but, it's multiple choice. Okay, we need to figure out how much greater. Whenever you hear that question, how much greater, how much bigger, how much faster, what operation are we talking about? Subtraction. So we've got to find the area of ABCD and JKLM. So we've got to do some counting here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 2, is it 7? So my height there, my base is 7, my height is 3. So obviously you should have done this. You didn't have to. You would end up getting 21 units squared. Okay. For JKLM, that is going to be 3 by 1, 2, 5. So if you do it this way, that's going to be 15 units squared. Okay. And then what do we need to do to find how much greater that one is? 21 minus 15, right, guys? That's going to give us 6 feet squared, letter A. Letter A, no work. I mean, you should have had work, but I'm not counting off if you didn't. I'm not giving you credit for it. It's just right or wrong. Either you had A or you didn't. Either you had A or you didn't. Yep, since this scale right here says that each one of those squares is 1 foot by 1 foot, then this should have been feet squared. He's right. Okay? All right, let's go on. Carlos, you're going to see why this one's worth 4 points. Pay attention. Carlos is buying carpeting that costs $22 per square yard. How much will it cost to cover? What's that mean, guys?
Area.
Area. His rectangular living room floor, which is 4 yards by 5. So if you wanted to draw a picture, you could. Did not have to. Okay, his thing is 5 yards by 4 yards. So you can see where my first 3 points are going to be right here, right? Cover, area. So we've got to do formula, base times height. That is going to be 20 yards squared. So there's the first 3 points right there. Formula, answer, yards squared. Everybody good with that? Yep. Formula, answer, yards squared. Okay. That's your first 3 points. Now we've got to answer the question. We didn't want to know what the area was. We just had to figure that out. We wanted to know how much it's going to cost him. Well, again, most of you probably just did 20 times 22, right? Well, that's fine. But I just want to make sure you guys do understand. Again, just like the one before this, when we did the grass seed, isn't that right there just a fake ratio, guys? So $22 per square yard. And I have 20 square yards. Wouldn't I just be doing times 20 times 20, guys? Okay. So when you do that, what do you end up getting? You get $440. So there's your third point, or your fourth point, I'm sorry. So you had to have all that other stuff along with the answer, $440. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay, number, whatever the next one is. 17. This is where the mistake started really, when I looked at the clicker results and I went through that information, there were some people missing these. Now it says the 2 sides of the sail meet at a right angle. So what kind of triangle do you know this is? You know it's a right triangle, then it has to be. That's the only way it can meet at a right angle. So you know it's 9 by 9. So again, this is worth 3 points because you see the word area. Area equals 1/2 base times height. 1/2 times 9 times 9 is going to give you 40.5?
Yeah, 40.5 feet squared.
And then, of course, feet squared. So your 3 points, formula, answer, feet squared. All right, number 18. More people missed this than got it correct. More people missed it, so I'm just going to go ahead and advise you now. You might want to be writing down what I'm doing. It'll be on the video also. Now, I think the easiest way that you guys all did it is I'm pretty certain that you guys cut it right here, right? There is no reason to cut it anywhere else. So, first of all, this square here, listen please, you had to do the area of that. Let's start there. That's pretty easy because it's kind of already set up for you. So that's going to be base times height. You had to have that. Now, we're going to do 4 times 4. We're going to get 16 inches squared. Okay, so we know that that's going to be 16. Where the issue came for you guys is actually figuring out the area of this triangle. There was all kinds of mistakes happen. This was from a worksheet. Do you guys remember it?
No.
It was. We did it a few weeks ago, but we actually did this. This was the same exact question from it, and you guys struggled with it then. Stuck it back on there, and it was still a struggle. So, again, I like to just redraw these as best I can and bring it over here. And then really kind of be able to then see, okay, what is my base and my height here? Okay, a lot of you are thinking that the base is what? What do you think? 6. Is it 6?
No.
Clearly not. If I measured from there to there, that's 6. So what is going to be this distance here?
4.
So that's 4. So together, what's the base of the triangle? 10 inches. You might want to be writing this. Okay, now I got to figure out my height. What do you think a lot of people thought the height of this triangle was?
12.
12. Again, can't be. Because that's the whole distance. But since this, I know that this is 4 right here, right? From there to there. So what's left over? 8. So we've got to write our new formula. 1/2 base times height. That's going to give us 40 inches squared. I'm going to add those together and I'm going to get 56 inches squared. So 3 points. Listen up. You're going to get, listen closely guys. You're going to get 1 point. You had to write both of these formulas. That's 1 point. That's 1 point there. Then your second point would be 56. Your third point would be inches squared.
For the whole thing, right?
Yes. That is the answer, guys. That is the answer, absolutely. The area of the square down here was 16 inches squared. The area of the triangle is going to be 40 inches squared. All right, let's keep moving. All right, this one here, again, worth only 2 points. You'll see why here in a minute. I would have liked to have made it into a equation, but some of you probably just guessed and checked, which I guess I'll accept, but this is the way I'd want you to do it. We know the area is 135. We know this is 1/2 times 15 times my base. Okay, we're going to solve this. First thing I'm going to do is simplify that. 7.5b equaling 135. I'm going to divide by 7.5. I'm going to divide by 7.5. That's going to tell me that b equals what? 18. Right? Should be 18. 18 yards, just like that. So your 2 points are 18 and yards. And by the way, when you finish this problem, if you got something else, if you got 9, why didn't you take 9 and plug it back in and find the area? You should have done that. 1/2 times 9 times 15. If you would have plugged it back in, you would have learned that that is not going to be the answer you need, okay? Because it's, you guys are just, now if this were a rectangle, guys, if it was that, then the base would have been 9, right? Okay. Okay, number 20, or that's it. Okay, this page is out of 13. Put what you got out of 13. Last page, we're going to zip through these because we're running short. Okay, everybody pay close attention. First one's worth 4 points. The 4 coordinates, each point is worth 1. So we got over 1, up 9. There's point A. Point B, over 4, up 9. There's B. Make sure yours is in the right spot. C is going to be over 4, up to 7. And D is going to be 1, 7. D and C. And then obviously if you connect these, what do you got? A rectangle. So put what you got out of 4 there. Now we'll go down. We know this is a rectangle, so that's only worth 1, obviously. Yeah. That's wrong. That it is a parallelogram, but the best closest name to it would be a rectangle. Okay? Find the area of the shape above. Obviously worth 3 points. Area equals base times height. So we got to go up and figure out the base and the height. The base looks like 3. The height is 2. You learn that that's going to be 6 units squared. So your 3 points. 1 for the formula, 1 for the answer, 1 for units squared. Good? 21, same deal here. Just plot the points, make sure they're in the right spot. So 5, 1, that's point A. 6 up, 6, 4 right there. So over 6 up 4. Over 9 up 4. 10, 1 would be right there. You can see what shape is this going to be. That is a trapezoid. Okay, so there's your 4 points there, and then there's your trap. Okay, this page is out of 4, 8, 12, 13.